Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Also on podcasts everywhere, Facebook Live and YouTube. Also, you can go to talklawradio.com and find previous episodes there. You can search whatever area of law you have concerns about. Might learn something. And if you need more information, head on over to our sponsor, Marquardt Law Firm, and you can chat online, or you can give them a call and schedule an appointment and talk to an attorney. Today I'm talking to Carlos Garcia about his life. We've been talking about his trucking experience, his experience in the oil field. And before the break, I asked him about the Ice Road movie. You didn't see the movie, but you've watched the show.
Yes.
So is that what it was like for you, driving on ice?
Not even close, no. Whenever it would get icy, to me is too dangerous. I was born and raised here. Ice is evil to us, so I don't drive on ice. I don't know how to ice skate, so I'm not going to learn in an 18-wheeler.
Oh,
That's
right.
always been my saying. So.
Yeah, personal injury attorneys are famous for putting targets on 18-wheeler drivers. Mm-hmm. What's that like for you and the guys that you work with in the industry to have a target on your back?
It's definitely tough because it's like everything else. If you do the right thing, then you should be okay. There are accidents that happen, but if you're able to, do the job correctly, check your truck, make sure everything's good, then you should be okay. I haven't been in a situation like that, and I hope I never am. And I know that, attorneys, they have a very important job to do. And there are some negligent drivers out there, and that's, it's just part of life. It's reality. But
every industry has their problem people.
Exactly, yes. And so, it's no different in trucking. There's drivers that they don't check their trucks, or, they go to work, drunk or high or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a reality. And I've seen people do it, and I've, tried to, get them not to go out, things like that. And it's just, I stay away from people like that. It's just not
Mm-hmm.
worth it to be around them, because I could be out there. They can hit me. They could hit my family. They can hit their own family.
Right.
It's just tough.
Tell us about how you developed a passion for financial security by working in the industry that you're in. What did you see that led you?
So in the oil field, I would be out there, in any day, 103, 105 degree weather, and I would see people in their 50s, 60s, out there swinging hammers and throwing hoses, working hard, sweating. And I always thought to myself, if they're, already, in their 60s and they're out there working that hard, maybe if somebody had taught them how to, plan financially, then maybe they wouldn't be in that situation. They could be at home with their kids, or relaxing, or grandkids, maybe even vacationing if they plan, accordingly. Mm-hmm. And it was always in my head because, it's tough to see people out there, in that age group, working that hard.
Right.
It's tough for someone that's in their 20s and 30s and their 40s. I can't even imagine someone in their 60s out there. And so that's always been in the back of my mind is, if someone was out there to go help them, go be a resource to them and show them, there's different ways that you can, make your money work for you, then why not? Why not try to help them? Why not try to help them invest in different things so that way they plan properly?
And how did you make the transition from trucking to financial planning?
So when I was in West Texas when I was the operations manager in safety, I would receive calls and emails from New York Life, and from a recruiter from New York Life, and I ignored it for a little while because, I just, see New York Life, and I just thought, I'm in the trucking industry, and this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, and then it hit me, I always wanted to do something in the financial industry, and then I took that opportunity. I reached back out to them, and You know, I went to New York Life. I was there for a while and gained a ton of experience there, and it was a great experience.
Okay, so you started at New York Life, and you were working your mission, trying to help the guys that you work with. Probably is
Yes.
that what you started?
Yes. So when I was there, I wanted to focus on, you know, blue collar businesses and oil field personnel, truck drivers. You know, those are the people that I've seen, you know, breaking their backs every day, and you know, nobody goes out and helps them. Is from my experiences. So it's a little tough with their underwriting. You know, so there were people that I was not able to help, and it was a little frustrating. So from there, I went to Mass Mutual.
So tell us more about that. What is the underwriting, and why didn't they fit in that box?
So in the underwriting, they consider truck driving and oil field a very dangerous occupation. It can be dangerous, but there's tons of rules and regulations that, you know, keep it as safe as possible. Most of the people that go out to work, they come home every day. You know, it's not, you know, there's not someone that's losing their life every single day out there on the oil field. So, but they consider it a very dangerous occupation. So there's a lot of limitations to try to even get them approved. And that was very, very tough because that was who I wanted to help, you know.
And life insurance is one of the foundational parts of a good financial plan, is protecting your spouse and your children in case something does happen.
Exactly.
And then you build up from there your savings and your investments and your retirement. So starting with life insurance was the natural thing to start with.
For sure, yes.
And so you went to Mass Mutual because maybe it would be easier to get people qualified?
It was. I was able to help a lot more individuals out there, and it was, the underwriting was a little more flexible. It was a different type. I learned the different ways to plan. Also, it wasn't just, you know, certain life insurances. It was how to use life insurance as a financial, you know, to build up to accumulate your funds, you know, and that was huge for me because that's part of it. You know, that's part of life insurance, and the financial planning part is to build up your funds. It's the protection part, of course, but there's ways where you're able to accumulate
while you're alive.
Exactly, while you're alive, and you're able to use those funds. And I learned a lot of different strategies there at Mass Mutual.
But you're not there now.
I am not there. So what happened is, COVID hit. It was tough for me to get in front of a lot of people. You know, we couldn't meet face to face. Zoom is a little impersonal, and it just wasn't the same. And just before then, that's when I had started the trucking company. And so, you know, when things slowed down, I said, you know what, well, maybe this is my time to focus on the trucking and, you know, build it up and really focus on that for a while. And then when things settle down from COVID, then I'll be able to get back into the life insurance, and that's exactly what I did.
Okay. So what kind of company do you work for now?
I'm an independent agent right now with Dominion Strategies, and so it's a brokerage, and we work with, I think it's 24 different carriers now. So it's a lot more flexible in the aspect that I'm able to create a whole plan from top to bottom, whether it's, you know, life insurance, disability, or you want to accumulate your funds. I'm able to do a lot more extensive planning for my clients now.
Okay, that's good. So you've talked about some things that agents have to worry about when they're working with a new client, the underwriting, and then one time when we were talking, you mentioned the cost too, that some companies are more expensive than others. And so when you're working in this new company as an independent agent, are you able to shop more carriers?
Yes.
You mentioned that.
So there's different carriers, they focus on different things. You know, there's some that, you know, if you're very wealthy. They'll approve you whether your health is in tip-top shape or not. There's other carriers that, they're a little more lenient. There's some carriers that don't accept diabetics, and diabetes is huge here in San Antonio, and there's some that they will accept diabetics and people with below average health.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then their monthly premiums reflect it. There's if you're unhealthy, well then your premiums are going to be a little bit higher. But I'm able to shop around and find you the right plan for you.
Okay. Well, I wanted to say what the attorney thinks about, because when a new client comes into me, I ask them all about their money and stuff because we talk about where it's all going to go after they pass away, and also how they're going to pay for their long-term care if they become disabled or incapacitated. So what the attorney thinks about is who did you designate as the beneficiary? Because we want to make sure that that transition is going to work. And sometimes we see somebody designate their minor child as the beneficiary, and that causes problems because the life insurance company is not allowed to pay money to a minor child. Did you designate a disabled child? We don't want you to designate a disabled child either, because they're not going to be able to manage the money for the same reason that a minor child wouldn't. Or they might be receiving government benefits, and we don't want the inheritance to disqualify them from government benefits. And so we can use a supplemental needs trust or a special needs trust to help preserve the inheritance and help them remain qualified. Also, we ask, did you designate somebody who you, quote unquote, think is going to do the right thing? Where they're designating somebody who's supposed to take care of somebody else, and that's what I call doing the right thing, when really if you set up a trust, then that one person would be the trustee for the beneficiary, and it's a more formal and relationship, and it's all written down and legally enforceable. Other problems is if you name your extramarital partner, that's no bueno there either.
Exactly. Yeah.
And finally, have you considered whether the proceeds are going to cause your estate to be subject to the federal estate tax, the death tax?
The death tax.
There's not a whole lot of people around San Antonio with more than $12 million, but there are some, and they may not know that they're above that limit. I've run into a few people in my career, they didn't really know how much money they had because it was all spread out over so many different types of accounts.
Exactly. Or business owners.
That's true too. So I just wanted to mention that. What does the attorney think about? What are some other aspects of life insurance that you think about when you're dealing with a new client?
Those are all good ones. The beneficiaries is huge because there's people want to, everyone wants to put their kids as beneficiaries, but if they're under 18, then they're going to have to either wait till they're 18 or it'll go into probate, and it just gets into a big old hassle that a lot of people don't think about. The estate planning aspect is really, we have to come up with a good plan, because it's not just about what's going to happen as soon as you die. You have to come up with plans, and that's when the wills and the trust come into play, so that way we know where the funds are going.
Yeah. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the 10 Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.